As local government, they're dividing us up into regions, and our metropolitan planning organization is doing transit-oriented development. All of your tax dollars are going towards it. A Democrat out in California works for the Department of Transportation. She was involved with eminent domain. She goes to court and swears to the value of your property. The government is picking the winners and losers. Anybody can get a waiver, and I've watched it happen all over the county. It's called pay to play. So everything that you're being told right now hasn't even been decided. I don't know why they didn't mention that one of the things you can do is put a police substation in one of these developments. Or you could get a picture of a bull and put it up. We need lights, we need roads taken care of, and we need just, known, and predictable. Live, work, and play is from the United Nations. Our Senate passed a bill that is in Mr. Maxwell's hands right now, so anybody can read it for themselves. People have made fun of me for saying this, and talk about complying. These things go through. We are now all legally non-complying. Prove with this code and zoning that you did it right when you did it, because you are guilty till you're proven innocent. And the last thing I have to say is this all comes down through code. I'm gathering information now. There's a woman, her name is Anna Vernay. I know you've met her. The city manager has spoken to her. She was forced to sign papers under duress, and two of our code officers, fighting blood, sat for 2 hours outside her apartment and harassed her. So how's it working is the question you need to ask. And when they show you the pretty pictures, ask where those houses are going and who's funding it, and if you get a vote. See, they get, three people can change this comprehensive plan over our vote. That's what's most important. They're saying they're the deciders. Yes, they can, Loretta, and you formed a pack.
Suzanne, ask the question.
Excuse yourself.
No, thank you.
You have
Thank
a
you very
question,
much.
Suzanne?
Are we going to allow this, or we the people get to decide? That's the question. Who's the boss?
This isn't.
Thank you.
So thank you, Laura. You are
You
next.
never give me a chance to speak, and I will speak. People are going to know that their homes are going to be eminent domain. They're doing it in California. It took them 10 years to force this through
Laura, you are
Miami.
next.
We're going to have 1 minute.
I'll go out.
No, don't
I'll
go.
breathe.
Don't go.
Don't go.
No. I do actually. I'm being disruptive. You're right.
No, you're not. We're going to give 1 minute for each one.
Yes, Lori, please.
Yeah, I'm personally very concerned about the Gulfstream, and I think the hotel there, and I think we're all very fond of it and would like to see it thrive. Unfortunately, in the over 20 years I've been here, I think 5 different people have gone bankrupt on it. I'm just curious what you think of the viability of it, given that I think it needs like a lot of rehab, and it was designed for a time when people were used to smaller rooms or whatever. If new hotels are built, would the Gulfstream be able to survive financially?
Well, I think from an economic
How would that
standpoint,
affect it?
having some history with, I did a study, one of my first studies I did on a historic hotel was trying to save the Pennsylvania Hotel in West Palm Beach. And it had very similar room arrangements as the Gulfstream. One of the challenges is that the current hotel market is one that likes a little more luxury, a little more services. They want more than just the hotel room to stay in. There aren't going to be that many rooms in the Gulfstream, but the commensurate expense you're going to have to put in the building to renovate it is probably going to be in excess of several $1 million. And so you're going to need more hotel rooms somewhere to help complement what you already have to justify the investment in the Gulfstream. You're also going to want to have some larger meeting spaces. You're going to want to have probably a spa or some kind of secondary amenities. The pool needs to be redone. The building doesn't really have parking, so you're going to have to provide parking to make it work. And so unless there's an opportunity to add on to that building a significant amount, I don't know whether anybody will ever make it viable as a hotel. And that's just sort of the sad truth of it.
Well, that's what the last owner was going to do. He even had plans approved to build a second building there, and then he wrapped up in foreclosure.
Well, the basis, his economic basis on what he got in the building was also sort of skewed. It was very high from an economic standpoint. His initial investment in the bare bones of the building was, I don't think would ever have made it on a pro forma.
What are other possible options for the Gulfstream, if not a hotel?
We've had 2 people ask us about putting an assisted living center there, a high-end retirement home, an office building, somebody wanted to put an international jewelry and raw stone emporium of some sort on the first 2 floors. What else have I been throwing curveballs on?
I'd be happy if somebody just opened the bar.
That's gonna include the pool. We have enough to get the pool
They haven't
fixed.
had
There's a
this
shortage of bars in this town, isn't there?
You guys should go swan.
Laura, you heard this.
Oh, thank you. William, that, the BOA bank building in the front there?
The Bank of America? Yeah. This one?
Yeah. So, it seems kind of interesting to me that someone, I mean, looks like it's only 2 or 3 stories?
It's 2.
It's 2. So why couldn't they put it up to 3 or 4 stories and put a couple, or at least 1 floor of parking underneath and eliminate their parking issue?
Well, the problem with it is that trying to fit in a parking garage that actually makes economic sense actually takes up practically the entire lot. And
That hotel. But they have parking in the back there, right?
well, we had the parking here.
So
which
if
is
you put
enough
the
parking.
building on the whole parcel and put parking on the bottom, wouldn't that make
Well,
more
our
sense?
code, we try to not have a parking garage face our third major thoroughfares. So the parking garage, like on this building, is internal. You can't see it from the street. Now, if the community's open to having a parking garage, I don't necessarily encourage it because we want to have pedestrian traffic, and this is to me, a significant site that it faces our city hall annex, and I would hate to see this site be a parking garage on the first floor.
And that's because of walkability?
It's walkability
I mean, it's not because
and
of how
trying
it
to have
looks,
active
right?
use on the street.
Right, okay. My other
Our major
question,
thoroughfare guidelines now don't allow a parking garage to actually face the street like this. It has to be hidden behind a depth of retail. Once you put that in, the parking garage footprint doesn't work anymore.
but it could face that street in the back.
It could face the alley,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so I mean, it's workable on the parcel. It just seemed like it didn't make sense the way the parcel was laid out to me.
Not the street, the alley.
It's a street back there, isn't it? It's not
No, there's an alley.
Is that an alley?
And then there's historic homes on the other side of the alley.
Okay.
That's the same situation here. You have a historic building, and then on the other side of a narrow alley, you have this huge parking deck right behind it.
So
No
there's no,
regulations to prevent that.
I'm sorry.
Right now, no. You could build under the current code now, so they want to cover that entire block there, except for the front on Lucerne with a 4-story parking garage. You could do it by right.
It's always seemed to me a shame that Lake Worth is cut off by what you described as somewhat of a canyon, even now, from the waterfront. And when you're downtown Lake Worth, you really would have no idea that it was a seaside town. You know, you got to almost get in the car and go over the bridge and go to the Circle Casino. And so you mentioned that it's not that attractive to go down that block as a pedestrian even now. And if it was to become more of a hotel canyon, I mean, hotel's not a real interesting thing to walk by. Is there any way in which we could change the LDR, given the comp plan, to encourage more mixed commercial storefront development that would be more walkable and more habitable?
Well, we
start with that.
do require that there be activity along the street. I mean, even if it were a hotel, it's probably going to have some kind of interaction with the street, either from a restaurant standpoint. Some hotels do have small amounts of retail along the street. I mean, the Breakers has a whole significant, whole shopping district in it. Our guidelines do encourage you to have retail and commercial along the street face on the major thoroughfares, Lake and Lucerne, that provide activity on the street. The code also, because of its setback requirement of having the upper floors be set back or the whole building set back for a covered plaza, in and of itself, there's an incentive to having a covered arcade along the street so that you can walk underneath that and be out of the sun.
That would be nice, but it would be nice to encourage it a little more, because I went by the Hyatt in Del Rey yesterday. It's dead. It's the dead side of the street. And there's a parking garage around and behind it, and it's not particularly conducive to walking.
And we can have in our code that, you know, a certain percentage of the street